But Honorable Yusuf, you know that the deployment of security agencies or personnel to different states for election purposes, that had always happened. The PDP did that a lot while they were in power. Not that one is justifying it, but if I could share some of the points or take you up on the point that Honorable Ali raised previously, where he says you can't completely, or you can't even divulge politics from all of this, because if he, Sokoto State Governor, had been in the party all the while, and now that he wants to contest, you begin to see the party as a haven for corrupt politicians, and then went ahead and listed all of those. Doesn't have a point about that.
By implication, without conceding, it means that all the APC said in 2014 was politics. It means all. I remember very well that the president now did say there was nothing like subsidy. That if anybody said there is subsidy, that is a fraud. At that time, we were spending between 600 billion to 800 billion on subsidy annually. Now we're in the range of 1.4 trillion. In fact, the alarming thing about it is that it is now swab. What is happening is that at the production of crude oil is taken in lieu of subsidy. So by implication, it was politics, just mouthing things that Nigerians will be interested in and get them excited how to be elected. So I am not in Governor Sokoto's mind to know if he wants to run or not. But I am sure that the statistics he gave about employment rate are facts. I'm privileged to be an economics, and I've been in the House, I've been in the Finance Committee, I've been in Capital Market Committee, and I know of a truth that between 2015 and 2017, the capital market lost over 7 trillion. Why? Because after election, that confidence in our economy should be increased, well, deliberately by the executive. A president went around the world demarketing the country. I think that was not enough. We came out with the dollar policy that you cannot pay in, you cannot withdraw. 80% of those who are in capital market in Nigeria are portfolio investors, foreigners. So they took their money out. So it's a fact that the economy is in shambles. So if he now chose to use those things for political gain, as he says, he left to be seen. But those things are facts. They are not controvertible. I want anybody to say no, that those facts are not real. As for his tension, I do not have capacity, I don't have that privilege of insight to his mind.
Oh, let me ask you this question, Honorable Farouk Aliyu, because a lot of people come up with this argument, I don't know if you have heard it also, that the police haven't been in the center of most of this defections that we're seeing, leading up to the defections, as it were. You did see how the Nigerian Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, his house was barricaded by the police just before he announced his defection. Also, the security situation in Zamfara State, the security situation in Sokoto State also had to do with some degree of security concerns and security breach. The governor of Taraba State, Darius Ishaku, was also lamenting on security, harping on security and the need for the security architecture to be strengthened, the failure of which a lot of things will go wrong. Do you, in your thoughts, think, for instance, that the police is found wanting in all of these situations, and as a result, the argument goes that the police are sincerely the reason why people are feeling these defections are taking place?
Well, let me just respond to my colleague here on nepotism in the military. You know, he said, like, cost 32 are going on retirement, while the service chiefs are 29. Well, in any case, there are only 3 or 4 of them, the service chiefs, I mean 4 of them, the CDS, Chief of Naval, Chief of Army, and Chief of Air Force. I mean, if anybody says that morale is down because these 3 people or 4 people have not gone, Are all the members of Cause 32 going to be service chiefs? You know, so, and nepotism. Where are all these guys from? Is any of them from Katsina, where the president comes from? So if he says nepotism, I mean, you know, in the armed forces, I don't think that's correct. But now back to the issue of police. One, I'm not a police officer, so I cannot speak for the police. But I know for a fact. Let's talk about Taraba. Now in Taraba, you know how the governor of Taraba uses politics, you know, where people are killed instead of them to, you know, exactly find out why or what happened. But they start speaking about herdsmen, start speaking about Fulanis, start speaking about, you know, ethnicity and religion. When somebody dies, whether a Muslim or a Christian, Fulani, Tiv, or anybody, it's a life. So we should not celebrate when somebody dies. When you go to Benue, the same governor of Benue State who could not pay salaries, now all of a sudden, the best thing for him to do is to say that the police are against him, the Fulanis are killing herdsmen, and so. And before 2-3 days ago, he was in APC, so you could understand that. Look, it's got nothing to do with the party. No. But his own, what will he do to ensure that he gets re-elected? One, the party is not giving him platform, he has been told, because he didn't perform. He has no one concrete project in Benue to show why he should be re-elected. He could not pay salaries for about 20 months. So what do we do? I mean, what will he do to make sure he gets back? It's by these lies, talking about the police and so on. And look, if the police in Benue are not protecting him, how would he survive as a governor? You know, so please, we as politicians should try as much as possible not to endanger our lives. Because look, when somebody is protecting you and you're telling the person is not doing his job, I don't think it's right. And when you go to Zamfara also, look, Zamfara governor who comes from my party, how many times does he stay in Zamfara? How many times? You find out that most times he's not there. So, in fact, at one time, he himself said that, look, I don't want to be the chief security officer. So, what has that got to do with like the center? No, it's not the center. Look, if you
pardon me to just butt in here. My apologies. Let me just quickly butt in here. Are you in support of giving the governors full capacity to control the police in their states?
No, I don't. I'm not in support because, look, we politicians, if you give governors, like, look like now what's happening about this defection. I'm telling you, if you allow governors to control this thing, there could be, you know, civil war in this country. So that's why, look, we should ensure that there is probity at the center. The center should control the police, the armed forces, so that there will be unity. Look, we are one people, one country. Why do you say you need your own policeman? I am telling you, if you decide to tell these governors to give them the responsibility of, you know, controlling the police, there will be chaos, there will be more killings. Look at Benue State again, where the governor himself armed some militiamen, you know. So these kind of things, if you allow it to continue, each governor will arm his, you know, brigand, and there will be chaos and killings all over the place. So I think, you know, the police in the center should be held, you know, accountable to whatever happens, but then they should be given responsibility.
Farouk, we just need to put in that the governor he clearly denied those allegations, that he did not in any way arm any militia whatsoever.